Hello, my friends. Welcome back. It is August 26th, 2020. And on this day in history, we have in 1939, the first Major League Baseball game was televised. The game was between the Cincinnati Reds and the Brooklyn Dodgers. Fun fact for my baseball nerds. So I am just jumping right into today. If you have not noticed, we're just getting to it. We're going and we're moving. We're gonna have a great video for you guys. Okay, so let's get a little more into our video and start with our we will and I will objectives. So today we will assess page 2 and 3 of Social Studies Weekly and identify the vocabulary. I will analyze the vocabulary from page 2 and 3. So my friends, what I need you to do, since I don't have any important messages for you, we're going to go ahead and jump on into our reading and our vocabulary. So what I need you guys to do right now is I need you to make sure that you are getting your Social Studies Weekly out and ready to go. So that you can follow along with me, please. If you need to take a moment, pause the video, and let's get yourself all situated and prepared. Whoop, whoop. Speaking of being prepared, you should have a pen and pencil ready to finish writing down your vocabulary words for this week's Social Studies Weekly. All right, so I'm going to go over the last bit of the vocabulary for this week. Now, if you need to, like I said, you need to make sure that you write it down on a piece of paper, okay, because you're going to need it, I promise. And if you need to, you need to pause the video whenever you can. I will give you a split second without me in the video. That way you can pause it and just write down all of them for you, but we're going to go over them really quickly, okay? So to begin, let's activate our schema. So your thinking hats and your learning hats should already be on, and roll in your head to get into learning. All right, my friends, let's go. All right, so our first vocabulary word is cartographer. So cartographer is a map maker. So when you meet someone who makes maps for a living, they are called a cartographer. John Cabot. So John Cabot is an Italian explorer who was sponsored by England and ended up exploring Canada. Okay, let's keep that in our noggin about John Cabot. Then we have Hernan Cortez. Hernan Cortez is a Spanish explorer who conquered the Aztecs. That one is also another important one we need to keep into our noggins. Okay, so then we have Ponce de Leon. He is a Spanish explorer who searched for the Fountain of Youth and discovered Florida. What? How do you know what? We'll get into that because it's history, y'all. All right, then we have Jacques Cartier. He is a French explorer who discovered the Newfoundland. We'll get more into that, okay? Then we have Pedro Menendez de Aviles. He is the St. Augustine founder. Okay, I know I'm going a little bit fast for you guys, but you guys will have a moment to just pause and write down all of the vocabulary words in a minute. I just want you to listen and hear what I gotta say to you guys. Okay. All right. Then we have St. Augustine. St. Augustine is the oldest permanently settled city in the United States. Okay, so let me say that again. It is the oldest permanently settled city in the United States. Then we have Henry Hudson. He is the one who claimed land for Holland. Okay. Then we have Aztec. The Aztecs are the people who were conquered by Cortez. So if you were listening to when we were talking about Hernan Cortez really quickly, he is the one who conquered the Aztecs for the Spaniards. Then we have conquer. So conquer means to be defeated in combat. So combat is another word for battle. So he went through a whole war, kind of a war, more of a battle, to defeat the Aztecs and to gain their land. So what I need you guys to do is really quickly, I'm going to give you a second to pause the video, and you're going to make sure that you get all of these vocabulary words written down, read over them again really quickly if you need to. And then that way when we are reading together, you're going to see these words and these names pop up, and you're going to be like, oh, know who that is. I built my schema. I know what that is. I know what that is. I know who that is. I know what he founded. I know where he conquered and all that good stuff. All right. So take your minute to pause and take your picture. Write down your stuff. All right. So I am going to open up the Social Studies Weekly for you guys. All right, so you guys should be on this middle section where it starts the age of discovery. We are still on week 1. Okay, we are going to start on page 2, which will be on the left side. I'm going to zoom in for you guys. All right. Oops, a little bit. All right, there we go. All right, so make sure that you have your studies weekly ready to go. I'm going to begin reading. Here we go. All right, the age of discovery is our title. Let's activate some more of our schema and get some of these reading skills put in here. We have our title of the age of discovery. It is this huge, big, lovely title right here that's being covered a little bit. All right, so let's begin. The success of Columbus's first voyage quickly caught the attention of other explorers. Soon, more Europeans engaged in far-reaching exploration. As they traveled the world, they often conquered the native people they met on their journeys. The explorers mapped the land and established new trade routes. They traded gold, silver, and spices. Most importantly, these early explorers led the way for several European countries to colonize or settle the new world. These colonies were the groups of people who settled far from home, but they maintained ties with their home countries. Now I am beginning in this subtitle here called England versus France versus Spain. That's a lot of verses. All right. When the Age of Discovery began, the great powers of Europe included England, Spain, and France. All three realized that to be the richest, most powerful nation in the world, they had to explore and conquer as much of the new world as possible. Moving on to England's chance subtitle, we have England's King Henry VII. Seventh. Whoa. Ooh, man, Miss Gonzalez needs to re-educate herself on Roman numerals. Okay, so let's just say King Henry gave Italian-born explorer Giovanni Gabbado, later called John Cabot, permission to explore unknown land for England in 1497. Cabot sailed north of Columbus's route across the Atlantic Ocean. He claimed land in present-day Canada and explored the United States. However, Cabot believed he was in Asia. His ship sank before he could return home, and Cabot never knew what he had really discovered. So that is 2 explorers now who have believed that they were traveling to Asia when really they ended up in North America, aka Canada and the United States. So now moving on to our next subtitle, Spain sends more explorers. Spain also wanted to be the great power in the world. The leaders realized they needed to continue to explore and conquer. People heard tales of the New World cities made entirely of gold. Spaniard Hernan Cortez was determined to find gold and silver in the New World. He sailed to present-day Mexico and conquered the Aztec people who lived there in 1521. Whew, that's a long time ago. There were also stories of magical fountains with water that could turn old people young again. At about the same time Cortez was conquering the Aztecs, another Spanish explorer, Juan Ponce de Leon, set off from Puerto Rico. Some people believed he hoped to find the magic water, the fountain of youth. He landed in present-day Florida. Of course, there was no fountain of youth to be found, but de Leon claimed the land of Florida for Spain. France takes a turn. By 1521, Spain found a new route to Asia by sailing around the tip of South America. By that time, many knew that North America lay between Asia and Europe. King Francis I of France believed, though, that Asia was still very close to North America's west coast. He wanted to find a shortcut, a water passage across North America. In 1534, King Francis sent sailor Jacques Cartier to find the shortcut, but there was no such water passage for anyone to find. Cartier instead discovered Newfoundland and Canada. He also claimed land for France around a river he named St. Lawrence. Now we're going to be moving on to the right side, which would be page 3. However, early French settlements there failed. It would be nearly 6 decades, meaning 60 years, before France would have a permanent settlement in North America. The oldest permanent settlement in the United States. When Ponce de Leon landed on the coast of Florida in 1513, its beauty overwhelmed him. There were palm trees, beautiful flowers, and exotic birds. The day he landed was the Spanish Feast of Flowers, or Pascua Florida. So Ponce de Leon named the new land Florida. Both Spain and France made several early attempts to colonize Florida, but these attempts were unsuccessful. In 1564, word reached Spanish leaders that the French were once again exploring and colonizing the western coastal land. This news angered the Spanish leaders. They wanted a plan to keep France from claiming any more land and riches. They decided to send Pedro Menendez de Aviles to Florida to establish a base from which to attack the French. On September 8, 1565, de Aviles and his men organized their territory. He named the new colony St. Augustine. De Aviles and his group had 2 goals. They were to continue to explore and claim land for their country because Spain wanted to continue to find gold and other riches. The men were there also to protect the land from other countries, especially France, and defend the trade route. They had orders to destroy Fort Caroline, which the French controlled. In addition, the Spanish government wanted control of the American Indians in the area. Within a year, de Aviles and his men had forced the French out of the area. They had also taken over the council house of the Tumaca tribe and started using it as a fort. This makes St. Augustine, Florida, the oldest permanently settled city in the United States. This historic city is a reminder of the importance of a European colonization in the New World. Now we are going to just scroll down, and you'll see your map here. So right here on this side is the Western Hemisphere. If you can remember your schema from the last video, this was the Western Hemisphere. This side is the Eastern, Northern, and Southern, okay? So this is where North America is, right about here, okay? So here we have about Canada, and here's the United States. This is South America. And then Europe is all here, and Africa is here. So this red line here shows you where Cabot traveled. And then the blue line down here is Cortez. The green line is Ponce de Leon. The yellow line is Cartier, and then de Aviles is the pink line. So it'll show you kind of where he landed in Florida. Isn't that pretty cool? All right. So my friends, what I need you guys to make sure to do is to, let's see. All right, make sure that you guys got your vocabulary written down. You guys are going to need it at the end of this week, okay? And I just want you guys to read over it again if you need to. If you don't quite understand something, you guys have your synchronous live time with me that you will be able to ask questions if you need clarification on. So no worries. And I hope you guys, enjoyed the read aloud. I hope that you are kind of thinking of some of the questions that you might have, like, Why are all these different countries supporting and sponsoring all these explorers to go somewhere else for them? That's a great question. And why are they so competitive? What is it that they're all trying to maintain? I have answers for you for all of those crazy questions. So please come onto the Synchronous Live and ask them for me, and I can share them with you, and we can have a great little chat. Okay, you guys? So with that being said, I hope you guys have a good evening and you enjoy the rest of your day.